Alright, another video. Whoops. Some kind of animal been in my recycling can. Fortunately, it's empty. Anyway, yeah, and a Contavad. So I haven't watched half of his video. Busy and such. But anyway, so he's on this guilt thing again. So he starts off by doing the typical irrationalist move, which is to, make excuses for nature, essentially. Trying to argue that the DNA molecule has some sort of secret, brilliant plan. And so he's doing the same thing, the typical thing, like somehow we experience life. The pain that we experience is somehow reason-based. Like all our pain and all our negatives are all things that have some redeeming value. So like a sprained ankle, the pain helps us to heal, and it informs us that we need to heal, and all this kind of crap. And this has nothing to do with the reality of life. Most of the suffering you'll endure in your life will not be sensations that will do you any good whatsoever. They won't protect your body, they won't heal your body, they won't do any of that crap. They will just torment you. If I punch somebody in the face and break their teeth are going to hurt. Okay, their teeth are going to hurt if they're lying in a chair, or if they're standing up, or if they're walking, or it doesn't matter. They're going to hurt. And it's going to be just a waste of suffering. Period. There's no useful function to the pain because the sensations are leakage of the system. Okay, they're evidence of the system's crude function. It's not a precision instrument. It's not a scalpel, your capacity to feel. It's a sledgehammer, okay? And it often creates waste. It often creates collateral damage, okay? Our sense organs create collateral damage pain, sensations that are of no value whatsoever. They won't help you heal. They'll, in fact, be an obstacle to you healing. If you didn't have a sprained ankle, instead you had a broken ankle, the fact is you have to incur more pain to correct the problem. And your body will actually make it difficult for you to do what you need to do, which is stretch your ankle and reset the bones. But you will have huge incentives not to do the corrective action because of the pain you will feel. It's like if you get shot with a bullet and it's stuck in your flesh. There could be a huge amount of pain that you will feel if you try to dislodge the bullet. So even though the best thing you can do is dislodge that bullet, you won't be able to do it because of the pain you feel. So we can go down the list, and then we have all these invader kind of microbe sicknesses. They serve no function. They don't make us better or stronger. No, they just disable us and cripple us. There's nothing good about them at all. So this whole justification for the suffering that we feel is just nonsense. It serves no useful function. It just torments us because of a crude, stupid system. And thank goodness for the invention of morphine and other instruments we can use to disable that leakage. But anyway, so again, it's just more of this glorification, this perversion, this propaganda defending the natural mechanism as if it has some redeeming value when it's incredibly crude, cruel, and stupid. So anyway, and then so he goes on now to the subject of guilt once again. I don't see exactly how he's connecting these two subjects, but anyway, maybe that's in the second half of the video. So he's exploring guilt by exploring the predecessor to guilt, which is the strange part, right? I mean, most of the guilt you feel is for accidents, right? You do something, you don't go into it ahead of time saying, I might feel guilty, and then you feel guilty and you say, ooh, gee, I was right. That doesn't happen. What usually happens is you're caught up in the moment, emotionalism, some other thing. You do something that was an exercise of poor judgment, and then you feel guilty. Because you realize that, oh shit, I wasn't very considerate. Oh shit, I didn't think about the consequences. And then you feel guilty. So I don't think he's getting the mechanism correct anyway. But yeah, he's talking about it as if the reason why you don't do something stupid, bad, or evil is because you're afraid of feeling guilty. It's just like, what? I mean, does this make any sense to you? I mean, in my book, the reason why I don't do something cruel, stupid, inefficient is because I don't want to be an asshole. I'm not afraid of the guilt I might feel. I'd say, gee, I should feel a ton of guilt if I'm going to be an asshole on purpose. I mean, it just seems quite clear. I don't want to be an asshole. I'm not afraid of guilt over being an asshole. I just don't want to be an asshole. I don't want to smell like shit. Okay? I mean, I don't want to be an asshole. I mean, this is just stupid. Afraid of guilt? He thinks that that's why you don't do stupid things, is because you're afraid of the guilt you'll feel for being stupid? No, you're afraid of being stupid. You're afraid of the cognitive dissonance you'll have, the rational dissonance you'll have, if you do something overtly stupid. Fuck. I mean, just amazing. So for him, he needs to be afraid of guilt, not to do something stupid. If he can't think that he can't imagine a guilt that's bad enough, then he'll commit the crime. I guess. I don't know. Again, I can't make any sense out of this. Guilt is not the most horrific thing in the universe. It just isn't. I'm sorry, there's no way I can make any sense out of this. Especially guilt that's easily resolved by just recognizing you made a mistake and correcting for it. Not complicated. Again, I've never felt guilt for some act of deliberate, willful maliciousness. Because I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't willfully and deliberately be malicious. So any guilt I've ever felt is because I made a mistake, and I just acknowledge I made a mistake, and then I correct for it. Not complicated at all. I mean, it just isn't. It isn't complicated at all. So anyway. But I just don't get this, I mean, I get it in the sense that we see the mission statement he has, which is he wishes to glorify the individual want to defend hunger and to eviscerate the consequences of acquisition. It's just clear. You see, he's the hedonist that Luddite keeps talking about, obsessed with the acquisition of experience, whatever that means. The acquisition of his experiences that he apparently needs. He has a list, apparently. And he just wishes license to be inefficient, ineffective, wasteful, to risk, and to put in jeopardy. He wishes license to disregard the welfare of others to justify his indulgence of his ambition. Yeah. I mean, what else is the point of this mush? The fact is, we can know in advance about what acts are. We're not motivated by a fear of guilt. We're motivated by a fear of stupidity. Being offensive to our own conscience. I mean, really, you don't need to feel the guilt. You just recognize the stupidity. I mean, it just isn't complicated. I mean, and he at least should have used an example. It was kind of stupid because it was such a malicious example. I mean, so overtly stupid. Robbing an old lady. What's the mugging more accurately, knock her down and steal her purse. As if somebody's supposed to relate to that in any kind of, I'd be afraid of the guilt I would feel. No, you'd be afraid of the fact that you'd be a complete asshole. A taker. You just have to think, oh, what if it was my mother? Oh, I'd kick the shit out of any fucker who's going to knock my mother down and steal her fucking goddamn Geritol money. Anyway, how to get to this more? I mean, of course you have to explain how our brain establishes these standards of I don't want to be an asshole. And what would happen if I was an asshole. But again, I just can't. It can't happen because the very pre-thought process eliminates the possibility. And again, it's not the fear of being an asshole if you're an asshole for anything, for some, like say, an overt reason. Like I said, how can you? So let's just change the scenario to there's a drunk girl, and you're horny, and you want it, and should you take it? That's a more interesting calculation, because again, is it the fear of guilt that stops you, or is it a understanding and an empathy that you wouldn't want somebody to take advantage of you, to shove something in your mouth that you didn't want in there, or do some other kind of thing based on the fact that you were in a compromised position? You wouldn't want such decisions made for you by somebody who has a self-interest. And so is this guilt that's controlling you, or is it understanding that's controlling you? Is it merely just saying the basic equation, which is it's offensive, it's disgusting as an act, it doesn't need to create guilt in me, it's overtly disgusting. Yes, committing it will make me feel guilty, but I think it makes me feel disgusted more. So, being disgusted and being disgusted with yourself is maybe the distinction. The first thing doesn't have to be personal. You're not disgusted with yourself when you're disgusted. You're saying that is offensive, that is repulsive, that is obnoxious, a vision. And you say, yeah, it's obnoxious. I wouldn't do that because it's obnoxious and repulsive. So you already have a sense of repulsion and aversion and disgust. You don't need anything else to dissuade you. And if you were to commit the act, you'd still have the disgust and the revulsion and all that stuff. And now you would have the added element of guilt because you'd recognize, shit, I did something repulsive. I'm an asshole. Yeah. That's probably, no need to beat it to death. But these are propaganda arguments. These are distortions of how our psychology works. People do not behave correctly because they're afraid of feeling guilty. We don't go out and just murder because we are afraid that we'll feel guilty if we murder. That's just nonsense. Absolute fucking nonsense. Anyway, enough said. And such. So forth and whatnot. Alright, I'll add on a little bit. Yeah. Well, I was thinking of better ways to say it. And we're not afraid of feeling bad. We're afraid of being bad. So there's a huge difference between those two things. Understanding yourself as bad, okay, is not guilt. Feeling bad, okay, because you did something, okay, that would be describable as guilt. But being bad, acknowledging the fact that I am bad, that would be something other than guilt. That would be a recognition of your corruption, of your, like I said, not a mistake, but a function. It would be your function, badness. It wouldn't be an error that would create guilt. It would be a recognition of the fact that you actually suck. And that's a different acknowledgement. That's a different psychological response than the response of guilt. Yeah. Well, maybe that helps, or maybe not. Cutting the field some more. I guess they're picking up the stuff. It's kind of wet to be doing that, though. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem right to me. But what do I know? I'm not a farmer. Not entirely, anyway. Not a very good one. I guess we could go take a look, see what they're up to. Lots of prickers in here, though. Ouch. Yeah, big machine. scoops this stuff up. I think that's a baler. Yeah, maybe that's a baler. It's a roller. It's a loop-de-doer. It seems to be just a cutter. Okay, so I haven't finished cutting it yet. Alright, it's just cutting. Okay then. So anyway. Guess that's horse food. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, now it's done. Yes, no, sorry. I have completed the video portion of the video. Until next time. Sorry about the noise. It's really loud. Tractoring and such. It's not even the tractor, it's the... Holy shit, it's gone. I can't... What am I going to do? I can't jump that far. You know, they're all in there now. Fuck. Yeah, it was a monster rain. So I guess wet feet is the story for today. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah. I gotta work in wet feet now. Anyway, till next time. And such. Another plumbing day. Bag of plumbing fun. No, it's not.